It's Election Night 2024, and it is an utter bloodbath. Democrat versus Republican, no holds barred. Anything goes, and oh my god, here comes the MAGA militia. What is going on here? Oh, the horrors. This has got to be the worst election in our lifetime.
やめろ。ママにもらったのか。ああ、気持ち悪いんだ。おい、やめろ、やめろ、やめろ、やめろ。
Now it's Trump versus Harris.
守りし者だと。一体誰を守るんだ。人の痛みに気づかないお前が誰を守るんだ。守れ。
And they're trying to reenact the finale to Kamen Rider Kuga?
お前は何と戦い、何を守った。自分の正義を振りかざし、守ったのは自分だけ。
Lock your doors, everyone! Guard your pets! This is going to be a long night.
Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Welcome to your 2024 election special. I am your host, the Kaijin Okami from the Toku and Animation News Network, and tonight I'm taking a look at the 2020 Garo series, Versus Road. It felt really good having Keita Amameya back for the last several Garo shows and movies. We got what is my favorite series to date, some solid adventures with Koga-san, and some enjoyable movies. It seemed like Garo was on a roll. In 2020, Itaru Era came back to write the next series titled Garo Versus Road. For those who may not recall or know this, the third season of Garo, The One Who Shines in Darkness, was written by Era. Era's attempt at a show had some good characters and tried to give the Garo series a serialized story, but it was very light on both armor action and having actual horrors in it. And when it did, all of those were relegated to poor looking CGI. As such, his return instantly made the outlook on this new Garo adventure questionable. Furthermore, as with The One Who Shines in Darkness, Versus Road kicked off an entirely new Garo narrative full of new characters and scenarios, this time taking place in a video game. So basically it's Dot Hack or Sword Art Online in the Garo universe. Has Era learned from his mistakes of the past to create a great Garo show? Or is this one on a road to hell? Watch to find out. The Heroes. A new setting means new characters, which entails new heroes. Assuming you can actually call these guys heroes. The Players. There, that's more like it. In the premiere, we are introduced to 100 people standing around in a lobby of sorts. They are greeted by the game's moderator, Sumori, who tells them the winner of the Desire Grand Prix will be given anything they... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be reviewing Garo Versus Road, not Kamen Rider Geats. My mistake. I got them confused. In the premiere, we are introduced to 100 people standing around in a lobby of sorts. They are greeted by... Wait, I'm sorry. I am still talking about Kamen Rider Geats for some reason. I'm supposed to be reviewing Garo, you know, knights versus demons who latch on to the desires of men. Let me see this script. What's going on here? Huh? Oh. Oh. Never mind, apparently I am reading the right script. Basically, Versus Road is the adult version of Kamen Rider Geats? Huh, who knew? So yes, in the premiere, we are introduced to 100 people standing around in a lobby of sorts. They are greeted by the game's moderator, Shuka, who tells them the winner of Garo Versus Road will be granted any wish they desire.
お前たちは特別に選ばれた勇者目指すわ あの黄金の鎧を召喚する最強の騎士ガロの称号。約束しよう。勝ち続ける者には望む力が何でも手に入る。
Those who are allowed to enter receive a mysterious box that looks like an original Xbox containing VR goggles and instructions on when the next event will start.
これは選ばれし者だけが参加できる特別なゲーム。君は前に進む、進まない。
The first round of the game is a battle royale until only half of the players remain. Some are eaten by horrors.
レディーファイト。
何をしてます
While others are X'd off by human scum. It is here that we are introduced to our main players, which includes the man of morals, Kuan Senna,
ヒーローなんていらない。ガロの称号なんて俺には必要ない。
his childhood friend who loves to play arcade games, Hoshiai Shiori,
オッケー僕ヒーロー
a YouTuber named Nagamo Taisuke,
みんな知ってるよね。都市伝説になっている VR ゲームガロ VS ロード。なりたい自分に必ずなれる。勝ち残った人間には富や栄光が与えられる。
Kozuki Takane, who desires to be the world's greatest genderless fashion designer,
じゃあ早速話題のジェンダーレスモデル神月高根が初めて表紙を飾った感想から聞いてみようかな。
びっくりです。最近まではちっぽけな読者モデルで
a former gang leader turned bartender named Amao Ryunosuke,
バカかいつ。
and Amao's rival Kanata Dai, who has decided he will be the top gangster in all of Japan.
お前が先に消えたら俺と手を組み一緒にヤクザを倒す。裏社会のてっぺんに行くのが俺の野望だ。
Kuan is a man who always wants to do the right thing and will also help out anyone in need.
そこらへんにしとけ。大丈夫だ。
At the beginning, Hoshiai is attacked by a thug who got pissed because he beat him at a Garo arcade game and punched his hooker girl.
ジュン君大丈夫？
He then demanded Hoshiai pay for the hooker being unable to work due to her bruised face, which resulted in Kuan bailing him out. However, Kuan assesses the situation first by asking Hoshiai if he had punched the girl.
お前が殴ったの？
俺が殴った。こいつが俺を怒らせたのよ。いいから金払え。
悪いのはあんただ。
He also tries to help as many people as he possibly can during the first round of the game by leading them to a safe room. The only things missing are an item box and a typewriter. Matsudai Koya isn't given much to work with, as Kuan is the Garo equivalent to Evangelion Shinji Ikari in being a whiny little no-good bitch. He's so freaking annoying and generic to the point of being my least favorite character in the show. Koya has been in numerous television series, such as The Romance Manga Artist, New Nobunaga Chronicle, and a Japanese remake of Orphan Black. Hoshiai is played by Naoya Shimizu, who has been in a series of movies called Werewolf Game, another film titled My Girlfriend is a Serial Killer, and the Hoshikuzu Revengers TV series. Sadly, Hoshiai really amounts to nothing as he is just there to be Kuan's motivation.
あのゲーム絶対やばいって。なんかこう今までやってきたゲームと感触が全然違うんだ。すごく気持ち悪い。
Nagumo's Tokito was also in one of the Werewolf Game movies. Nagumo works for a seedy man who claims he owes all of his fame to him, and when he requests to go on his own, his boss kicks the crap out of him.
金が入ったらすぐ手のひらを返す。
お前は金を掘り出す犬なんだ。
He is the one who reveals the Garo Versus Road game to the world, getting people to want to join in on it. They try to record footage of what goes on inside the game to no avail. Nagamo is also the one who firsthand learns what losing in the game means, even if the player requests to be removed from it before it starts.
見せてくれよ。ホラーに食われたらどうなるか。
So, yep, dying in the game, logging out before you start the match, means dying in the real world. Next up is Tokune, who, as I said, wants to be the world's greatest fashion designer. They are portrayed by Toman Sasaki, who previously worked on a series called Meiji Toko Renka. Tokune is a psychopath who will do anything they can to get their way.
ああじゃわかんない。ちゃんと感想言って。似合ってるよ。すごく。ありがとう。やめてくれ！
He's already dead.
He deserved it, didn't he?
Amo may be my favorite character of the series, as he wants to be a good person but is also willing to let his dark side take control of him when necessary. He and Kanata are pretty much frenemies, as they both hate each other while having no doubts about working together in order to achieve their ultimate goals. Amo just wants to live in peace as a bartender, as he is tired of being a gangster, while Kanata wants to tear anything apart that he can.
金ねえんだったら相談しろよ。な。
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。体さん。
Wow! Damn, man, look at that, look!
Both have reputations as strong fighters in Japan's underworld, which also makes them wanted by the Yakuza. Yuhi and Shutaro Kodashita make up these two.
目の前に相手がいる以上、俺は戦う。逃げても戦っても結局殺される。ならば戦う。俺には守るものがある。
バッドエンドかどうかはゲームに勝ってから確かめるさ。
こんなのゲームじゃない。
綺麗事言ってんじゃねえよ。一人もやらずに勝ち残ったってか。
Yuhi's other works include Samurai Rock, Vampire Knight, Tokusatsu Ga Ga Ga, and he is part of a band called Boys and Men. Kodashita has been in 2 episodes of Don Brothers and 1 of the Werewolf game movies. After each round has ended, the survivors are allowed to return to their daily lives until they are summoned to start the next festivities. Round 2 saw our players having to acquire keys to leave a labyrinth. Rounds 3 to 5 were just another batch of battle royal matches, with round 3 including collars around everyone's neck that had a bomb attached to it. Where have I seen this done before? Round 4 included an optional demon sword that could be used, but if the wielder did not kill their target within 99.9 seconds, that individual would become an undead nightmare.
魔剣を手にした者は強大な力を得ることができる。ただし 99.9 秒以内に敵を倒さなければ魔剣に支配され剣の傀儡となる。
Oh my god! You mean there's actually something related to a Garo show in my Garo show? Stop the presses! Inquiring minds want to know. And then there's round 5. Meh. Sometimes they were given items that could transform into a weapon or object of their choice. I have to say, it showed how uncreative people are when it came to what type of weapon they would wield. Many chose boring ass ones like a pipe, baseball bat, or knife. Kuan had a sword. Tokune had a knife that could shoot out of its handle.
将来邪魔になる人間を先に潰しておくことだ。
While a serial killer that was part of the game had a curved dagger that looked like it came right out of a Riddick movie. You know, if this had been me, I would have done something a lot more interesting, like maybe the Soul Reaver. Heck, maybe the Mega Buster. I mean, wouldn't it be pretty cool to shoot at horrors using Metal Blade? That'd kick their asses pretty quickly, except there's not really any horrors in this show to shoot at. I mean, there's some, but maybe it wouldn't be so effective. The villains. The villains are not actually horrors in this show. They're just the game masters. There are two game masters, a man and a woman. They are Shosetsu Hagiri and Azumi Kado. Hagiri just sits around chit-chatting for 11 episodes of the series, and the only thing we really know about him is that he was a former tournament winner. Sort of.
そなたたちはこれから最後の試練の時を迎える。ただ一人。
Azumi is half horror, half human, who travels around the city to keep an eye on the contestants.
お友達の家に行ってたの？
え？
その人は本当に友達？
Their ultimate goal is to use all of the negative energy from the tournament to forge an armor that is stronger than Garo, named Veil. If you are thinking they are anything like Jinga and Amari, don't get your hopes up. They are hands down the worst villains in the entire franchise. Perhaps some of the worst Toku villains ever conceived. The sad part is we saw how great actress Kyoko Hanami was in Akiba Ranger, as she was the first Akiba Blue.
何をされてもギャーギャーわめかないところが好き。あなたのお父さんみたいにね。
Meanwhile, Tomomi Murayama played random people in Kamen Rider 01 and one of the live-action Rurouni Kenshin films.
お前たちはそのための礎となった。ふざけるな！
There are no actual monsters in this show. The only type of horrors that appear are baseline ones with what appears to be VR goggles over their faces. They don't do much, if anything, beyond act as obstacles or guards depending on the game. The effects and music. The music is hands down the only good thing in this show. I mean, the effects are decent, but that's because 90% of the goddamn show is just a bunch of humans fighting each other. The base horrors are actual suits, which would be cool if we actually saw them fight. Camera work is pretty much static outside of a couple of moments. The best fight in the show is during a flashback sequence where we get to see a battle from the VR goggles of the horror.
Tonight at 8 on TNT's Monster Vision. Get ready for the greatest wrestling event of them all.
Also, you may have noticed I have shown little to no footage of the actual Garo suit in this review. That's because there is not a scrap of armor action until the final freaking episode. And to make matters worse, the Garo and Veil suits are fucking CGI, and all they really do is punch and kick each other. They do so much kicking and punching you would think they were a Parappa the Rapper rap.
Punch! Kick!
You would think after boring you for 11 goddamn episodes, they would have at least provided you with a fight that has incredible choreography and camera work to make the wait pay off. Instead, you are left with the shittiest shit that ever shit. But hey, at least there is some cool lighting, so there's that. Right? He doesn't even fight the freaking road! Terada Shiho and Kiriyama Yoshichika yet again lend their talents to another Garo series, which I guess makes them the Michiaki Watanabe of Garo due to how many series and movies they have scored. Their music is the biggest driving factor that kept me from being completely bored with this one.
勝ち残った者がガロー剣を天にかざし、あの黄金の鎧を手にすることができる。
2回戦。
そこら辺にしとけ。
邪魔すんなよ。
おい、お前、かっこつけてんじゃねえよ。
I hope they someday revisit the tracks found here when they do a better show. Their opening is equally good. It should not surprise you in the slightest when I say the ending theme was performed by Jam Project. It is titled Versus Road, Higenjitsu Teki Survival. I want to say it is a fine song, but I never really got a feel for it since it was always played over the show itself.
面白そう。
ダークメタルを生成して最強の武器を作る。あの時のようにな。
It wasn't played with a traditional credit sequence, so I was paying more attention to what the characters were doing than I was to the music. As such, it felt more like an insert song than an actual ending one. The episodes. If there is one thing Versus Road is not, it is original. Have you ever watched Battle Royale? How about the Hunger Games? Kamen Rider Geats? The Squid Games? Kamen Rider Ryuki? If your answer is yes to any of these, then you have already watched this show. In fact, Kamen Rider Ryuki and Geats remembered they were Toku shows and always featured suit action. This show couldn't even do that. If I wanted to bore myself watching plain-clothes people fight in a Battle Royale-esque tournament, I would watch the Squid Games. I watch Garo to watch knights in armor fight demonic monsters. Not whatever the hell this bullshit was. Era has yet again proven himself unfit to write for the Garo franchise. You would have thought that after a 7-year break, he would have figured it out, but nope. The fact that we had to sit through 12 boring as fuck episodes for one lackluster CGI fight that isn't even against the show's actual big bad is complete and utter bullshit. This show doesn't even have a fucking ending. It leaves off on an unfulfilling cliffhanger, giving a middle finger to the people who sat down and watched this pig slop each week. Sure, it is possible they will circle back later to Kuon and his world, as they had done with Ryuga, but I frankly don't see any reason for them to do so when this is one of the worst Toku series to ever exist. No one is going to want to waste their time on this dog shit again. I don't even know why it was 12 episodes, because despite having so many characters, only 6 of them had any development, and the plot, if you can even call it that, could have been done in half that count. Hell, this could have been a 2-hour movie and have gotten the same effect across. Maybe Era was trying to mimic the stupid MCU Netflix shows where it took a character to the final episode of their season to become the hero we were advertised we were going to be watching? I honestly don't know, nor do I care. I don't have a favorite episode because they all sucked, and every episode was bad. Is there any redeeming value to this show? Personally, I say no. However, if you have never seen any of the movies and shows I mentioned a little while ago, or are entirely new to the Garo franchise, none of the show's major issues may bother you because you would walk into it with no expectations. As a Garo fan, I am insulted by its poor production values, lack of originality, horrid characters I don't give a damn about, and that it was so busy sticking a pretentious spoon up its own ass, it forgot to be a Toku show. Era learned nothing from his experience with the one who shines in darkness. Congratulations, Garo. You now have your own Ultra 7X. I give Garo Versus Road the ultimate poo-poo score of 1 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. Fuck this show and fuck this election. Do not waste your time with this putrid pissball of puke. It is not worth it. Get the fuck out of here.